Good morning, first graders. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you had a fabulous day yesterday. We are going to just keep you updated on a few announcements. So number one, if you haven't turned in your Thunderation video yet on Seesaw, you can just take a video right on your camera roll on your iPad, and then you can just upload that to Seesaw. I would like to try to have all of our kiddos part of that. So if you still didn't get a chance, please finish that up today. Okay. Also, Mrs. Wendorf is going to be cleaning out our classroom today. So Mr. Campman scheduled one day for each teacher to go in when we don't have other teachers in our grade there, and we get one day to clean everything out in our classroom. So I am not going to be available today to answer questions on my computer because I will just be in the classroom all day. So I will check when I get back home. I'm not sure what time that will be tonight, but our questions or conversation may have to wait until tomorrow. When I go into our classroom, kiddos, I'm going to be putting a bag of all of your things together, and then I will put that in the library area with your name on it. And then Mr. Campman's going to send out an email that asks all parents to come in and pick up their child's bag, probably in a couple weeks. And when you do that, you can bring your library books or your classroom books, anything that you had from school that comes back to school at that time. Okay, but I'll let you know the details of that as soon as I hear about that too. Okay, so those are our two big announcements for today. All right, kiddos, here we go. Today is Tuesday, April 28, 2020, and the short date 4-28-20. It is almost the end of April already. Can you even believe it? I'm so glad that even though it's kind of a rainy week this week, I'm so glad that we were able to get outside this weekend, hear the birds chirping, feel that warm sunshine. It's just kind of rejuvenating. So since today, kiddos, is a writing day, I am going to be showing you an example of what I did for my personal narrative small moment seed story. Okay, so we're going to get started with just a little quick phonics because Mrs. Place does not do a phonics video for us today. So we're just going to do a real quick phonics lesson together, and then I will show you an example so that when you get to the writing part today, you kind of have an example of what that kind of should look like. Okay. All right, kiddos, so here we go. I'm going to say two words. You tell me if they rhyme or not, okay? Thumbs up or down. Shake those thumbs out. Here we go. I say planet, granite. I say goblin, sandal. Measure, treasure. Relish, return. Right? If they start the same, they're certainly not going to rhyme, right? Because if they started the same, it would be the exact same word. So next up, kiddos, get your pounder out. Here we go. Pound, beginning. What's my word? Beginning. Good. And you're actually going to be writing a beginning of your story this Thursday. Fantastic. Fantastic, just like you are. Anteater. Anteater. Good. One of those animals that eats ants. Titanic. Titanic. Good. And if you know what that is, it was a really big ship that sailed the seas a long time ago. Next up, I'm going to say a word. You tell me the middle sound. Here we go. I say budge. You say middle sound. Ah, good. I say drought. You say middle sound. Ow, good. I say spread. You say middle sound. Ah, good. All right, next up, kiddos, I'm going to say a word. You pound out the syllables. Here we go. I say capital. You say pound it. I say pelican. You say pound it. I say introduce. You say pound it. I say continent. You say pound it. Good. Next up, I'm going to say the part of a word, and you're going to add a part to the beginning. Here we go. I say plane. You say add X to the beginning. Good. Explain, right? If you're explaining something, you're giving clarification to it. I say cover, you say add discover, right? I say order, you say add pre-order. And that prefix pre means before, okay? So if it's a pre-order, it's an order before, or you pre-ordered something. I say electric, you say add electric. Good, electric. Next up, I'm going to say a word. You're going to take off the whole first part, not just one letter, and tell me the rest of the word. Okay, so let's try one. I say pretending, you say pretending without pretending. Good. I say forgiven, you say take off the for, given. Good. I say volunteer, you say take off the vowel, untier. Good. And I say gigantic, you say take off the gigantic. Nice job. Okay, last part today. I'm going to say a word. You're going to take off a letter in the middle and put in a new letter. Here we go. I say letter. You say change the A to A. Later. Good. I say sitting. You say take off the I and add A. Setting, right? And we're starting to talk about the setting of the story, the place and the time that the story takes place, which is really important for a reader to know. I say tackle. You say take off the A and add I. Tickle! That's a funny word, right? And last one, I say thinking, you say take off the ing and add a. Thinking, right? And I'm thanking you very much for doing some phonemic awareness, listening to sound activities with me today. All right, kiddos, so today you have kind of a fun plan. The slides are going to look very similar to what they normally do. But I do want to show you when you get to the writing slide today, and you probably remember this every time that we kind of think of a story and you touch and tell the story and your fingers, we make a plan for our writing before we actually write the introduction, the hook, the catch, okay? So this week, Tuesday and Thursday are our writing days, okay? This week, today, you're going to be making the plan for your story. So I'm going to show you mine, okay? Then tomorrow will be phonics, just like Monday, Wednesdays always are. And then Thursday, you are actually going to be writing the hook of your story. And that's a really, really fun day. And I will also show you that example when we get there. Okay, so first graders, I just took my handy dandy notebook. Okay, mine says hi on the cover. And just like you guys have at home, if you don't have any fancy paper or you can't print something out that we have attached to the slides, don't worry about it. Just draw it in your notebook, right? That's how you got it there. So I just took my spiral notebook, okay, and I just kind of laid out what our assignment for writing looks like today, okay? And I'm going to kind of walk you through just with talking about it, not with a lot of writing. You're going to see, obviously, we have first, next, then, last, because those are our transition words, right? But then you're going to see the only writing that I have in this sketch is really some labeling, which is always important, and what you could possibly have heard my mouth saying, or maybe my brain was thinking during this memorable time. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you. I just did this in my notebook, right? I just turned it this way, which you totally can do, or you can do it right on Seesaw. That's fine too. Okay, and I'm going to kind of walk you through the plan for my story. I kind of took my idea chart from last week, just like you guys finished. I made sure that all my ideas were seeds, that none of them were watermelon stories, right? I'm not going to write about an entire trip. I'm just going to write about that really memorable event that I did. I'm not going to write about everything about the soccer season, maybe just about the first time that I scored a goal, okay? So I want to share with you my seed story, my small moment story, my personal narrative that I'm going to start writing on Thursday, just like you guys are. Okay, and I hope you can see this. So, what I did, kiddos, was I just kind of laid out my story, and I'm going to kind of start telling you what that story is. Okay, but I might hold you in suspense a little bit for how the story, what all the details are, and how the story ends. Okay, so here we go. So, first up, kiddos, when I was sketching out my ideas, I remember the setting looking like this. Okay, I was on my back porch. This is my back porch. These are my stairs. These are the bushes. It was a pretty nice day out, I remember, because I was sitting outside reading. Okay, and it was July, so it was middle of summer. And these are our patio doors, and this is kind of how our kitchen is laid out. And then Bella, our puppy, was just inside, kind of hanging out in the living room by the couch. No big deal. There's our lamp. Okay. And I just have those kind of labeled down here. Labeling is always a good idea. Next, and there's of course going to be other details that happened while I write this, but this is just kind of the main things. Okay. Next, all of a sudden, I heard this huge crash. And we know that when you can use sound words in your writing, it just makes your writing so much more interesting. Okay. Now, at that time, when I was out on the porch, I didn't know what that crash was, right? I knew no one else was home. I know Bella was the only other person or dog in our family home. No other people were home. And then I kind of remember saying, "What was that noise?" Because it was so loud, right? Well, as I walked into the house, I saw that the lamp fell over and it was like in a million little pieces all over the ground. So right away, I remember running over to Bella because I wanted to make sure you don't want an animal or a child around where there's glass, right? And if a lamp fell over, there's definitely glass because the light bulbs were made out of glass. So I could see glass kind of scattered all over our carpet. The actual lamp part was broke. There was tons of glass all over the kitchen floor. Okay, so obviously I didn't care about the lamp. I cared about Bella. So I went over, scooped her up, cuddled her. "Are you okay?" At that time, I did notice that she had a little bit of blood on her fur. So I needed to do some figuring out as far as if she was injured enough to have to take her in to get stitches. When I cleaned her up, she wasn't injured enough to have to take her in. We just held some kind of gauze on there and made sure that she wasn't near any of the other broken glass. Okay. And then over here, I just have a little memory. "You're going to be okay, Bella. I will take care of you." And I'm just sitting on the couch, kind of cuddling her, holding that gauze on there, making sure that she doesn't go in any of the broken lamp parts or light bulb parts around her. And then as soon as I made sure she was okay, I, of course, swept and cleaned everything up. Because when you have glass that breaks, you have to make sure you pick all the little pieces up. So that's my sketch. That's my sketch. Now, that's not everything that I'm going to share in my story, but it's just kind of a rough draft to get you started, okay? All right, kiddos, I can't wait to see what your rough drafts look like today. So make sure that you take a picture of that and post that right on Seesaw, right where your activity tells you to do that, so that we can kind of see what your ideas are, okay? Thanks, kiddos. I hope you have a great day today.